Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you to join our event, Spill the Beans. It is a 1.5 hour event. My name is Michael Chandika, and right now I'm one of the technical leaders in Tiket.com Things to Do Verticals. Today I'm very excited to introduce you guys to two of our special guests. Michael Tando from VP of Technology, Things to Do Vertical, and Vipul Kumar Sharma from Head of Engineering Front End. Hi guys.
Hello,
Hey
guys.
guys.
As we know right now, the market is opening up. Travel, on-site attraction, concert, they are back. This session will give you exposure to what it looks like to be adventure with things to do. Yeah, actually, from dev and technology perspective, obviously. And we are very delightful to share with you about the Ticket.com things to do has done so far in order to achieve our Ticket.com vision, which is to become the most loved travel and lifestyle platform. Later, we will have a presentation from keynotes, a talk show, and last but not least, a Q&A session. I hope you guys will enjoy this session as much as we do. And the first session is the presentation keynotes from people. People, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for giving me time to present the thing. Hi guys, I'm Vipul Kurma Sharma. I head the front-end technologies here in Ticket. By front-end technologies, I mean web and web. And we have a lot of pages which are open in web views also. So let's start with the presentation. So let's start with what the front-end TTD engineers do here in TTD. Anything that you can go out with your family and enjoy, like their attractions, common safari, quite popular one, playgrounds, some tours, entertainment. You go to Bali, you go for a tour, some events that happen, and also you can book a COVID-19 test with us, antigen test. And these are some things that we do. What have we done so far? So we released a bunch of features during the COVID times, which help people to go to enjoy with their family. In the COVID times, we were not able to go out and have fun. It was like we were confined to our homes. We, we released the live mental features where you can just sit back, relax, and at your home and watch any of the concert that which is happening. During the sales, we had just last month or and the near about time, we had experienced unprecedented traffic. The average peak traffic was like 500,000 per minute, which was really huge given we do not actually have that much of traffic for events, etc. But we coped up well with that. We were not down, and we plan to improve further. We have also released a new architecture for the faster pages. If I'll talk about that architecture in the future slides. What have we done so far? If I talk about what have we done so far, we are working relentlessly on making the user so fast and smooth. We have released an architecture as I told in earlier slide also, and it will take our complete loading time to lesser than 3 seconds and bring the page load time within the recommended guidelines by Google. So movement of our pages to this architecture is next. We'll be doing that soon. We are actually in process, but we'll be taking that up really soon. Ensure, so what else we have been working on is ensuring that our user sessions and transactions are secured. No one wants to go to a website or any shop even which is not secured. So we did some bot blocking in the last sales we had. We'll continue to do that so that bots do not affect our regular traffic. And one of the things that we'll be doing to ensure safety of our users is content security policy. This will take like a little bit, but other things will follow. Yes. In the earlier slides, I've been talking about a front-end architecture. So let's take a small dive in that. I won't go deep. It's like whenever a user comes to our website via browser, he just open the website. We have a proxy layer, we have a micro front end in place, and we do not have like one architecture, one system supporting all the pages. So for different pages, the proxy layer just take you to the desired page. On the desired page, we check whether this page requires SSR or not. If the SSR is not required, we just send a page to the browser and the browser renders it. If the SSR is required, then we check whether this page is in any criteria of caching or not. If it is to be cached, we cache it. If it not to be cached, we not cache it. In case it is cached, we cache it and send the page response. And in case it is not required to be cached, we just send the response to browser. We fetch all our files, static files from CDN. Static files may contain our JS, images, etc. etc. Why all this matters in T3? Why it is matter? Because we have, as I told you, we experienced unprecedented traffic during our last sales. We will continue to do that because most of our events are like they will be sold within an instance of minute at max. So we'll make sure that we are able to handle the traffic and we do not go down and our user do not experience any downtime. We continue to block the bots so that actual user only book the tickets. We need to make the complete user flows super smooth and fast. Like this flow from initial landing to complete booking should not take more than a minute or so. This will ensure that most of our users stay back, they have a pleasant time, and their happiness matters to us. SEO needs to improve. We are working day and night on that only. We'll improve the SEO. It will bring us into organic traffic. Organic traffic is free of course, and that's the main major motto of what front-end engineers should do. Security brings trust to us. We are working hard and will ensure that all our transactions, all our pages are secure. No one can breach through your personal data. No one can breach through anything which is concerned with the user. We are working on it and we'll make sure that we are the most secure OTA in coming future. How does the improving speed and flow works? So it's like you will have to spend lesser time on our website. We want you to book your tickets, your events, your everything from us, but we value your time. We don't want you to spend a lot of time here and there. Less of the time, better for user. We'll increase the organic traffic, we'll make our SEO better, and also will increase user engagement and loyalty. We'll be coming up with lots of things wherein your users feel more engaged, and loyalty is like, if you feel secure, if you have to spend less time on the website or application, you are more engaged in the platform, loyalty comes with that. And I think that's all. We have been always looking out for a man or women, sorry, just to make sure that we keep growing in the same pace. If you are someone from technical background who wants to work on some exciting projects in the future, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, also with People Team on Instagram. And lastly, need a man to protect, bring him to the prom. Exciting tech project only at ticket.com.
Thank you, Vipul, for the very full presentation. I hope we got much information from there. We will have a Q&A session later. Next, we will have a keynote presentation from Michael Tando. And Tando, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Tando. I am currently a VP of Engineering at Tiket, and I manage things to do vertical, or TTD for short. Today, for this episode of Spill the Beans, we are going to spill what's going under the hood of TTD backend systems. We'll start with some of the key highlights and achievements that our team had accomplished. In mid of 2020, we launched brand new microservices that completely replaced the first version of TTD And we'll be talking more on this in a bit. We had also launched new application for our partners, which we call Ignis. This is a React Native app which ticket partners use to perform a number of operations such as scanning tickets, managing products and schedules, as well as viewing and downloading order reports. During COVID outbreak, majority of our offline product offerings were closed, and so we shifted our focus to provide online offerings which customers can enjoy from convenience of their home. Customers are able to watch live streaming concerts as well as on-demand digital content that they can rent for a period of time. We had also managed to connect and integrate with over 12 different attraction and activity providers. This is an important milestone, as one of our major focus was to provide as many product offerings so that customers will not have to look elsewhere outside of Tiket. Another important achievement, and frankly, one of the most fun and challenging project, is handling some of the largest music concerts ticket sales in Indonesia. Most recent one that we had were from South Korean K-pop, Super Junior and 17, which brought us up to 1 million total requests per minute. We've had some issues in the past during sales opening, and a lot of lessons were learned across different verticals involved. We had undergone a lot of performance improvements since then. Okay, next, what are the tech stacks that we use? TTD is mostly developed using Spring Webflux, which is asynchronous, non-blocking Java functional Spring framework that leverages multiple cores and handles a large number of concurrent requests with a small number of threads, allowing it to scale with fewer hardware resources. Initially, it was very challenging for the team to shift to a functional programming model, the reactive and non-blocking way of writing code. Many programmers find a functional programming difficult because it's just a whole different mindset. Your code is no longer just a linear sequence of instructions, but a tree of nested expressions. It was a good decision to pick this framework looking back, and the team had done really such a great job to overcome the steep learning curve. MongoDB is next in our stack. It's highly scalable, fast, allows us to easily store structured and unstructured data. When we started out, we knew that we are going to be changing very rapidly, and so MongoDB offers highest flexibility in terms of data needs. We use Redis for caching, pretty common industry standard. We also use Elasticsearch for our search suggestions or autocomplete. Elasticsearch is built on top of Lucene, so it really excels at full text search, and it supports things like fuzzy queries, boosting by specific fields. It's also very scalable and fast. It's also very important to use reactive drivers for all connections to our data stores to make end-to-end flow reactive and non-blocking. This reactive stack can have better response times and can scale better relatively than non-reactive stack. Next slide, we have a list of all microservices that exist for TTD. As you can see, there are a relatively small number of microservices, but so far it fits the needs of our engineering team. It's easy to make mistakes of making service too micro. We realized early that having too many microservices can lead to significant development overhead due to complexities and inefficient infrastructure costs. So we require serious justifications to split the service into smaller microservices. I'm going to briefly go through each one of them to give a little bit of context. First, we have API gateway microservices, one for internal and another for public. These gateways will handle all authentications, rate limiting, logging, and monitoring, amongst others. Next, we have inventory microservice, which offers services to manage all of our products and schedules. Search microservice would offer search suggestions that is used in our search bar. Supplier microservice is responsible for all services that related to third-party product supplier. Order microservice will handle all order-related transaction requests. Live backend is used to power our video streaming service. And currently, we have a few clients that consume our API endpoints: internal content management web, mobile and desktop web, partner web, as well as React Native partner application. And majority of our traffic would come from native iOS and Android apps. Here is the overall diagram of how the different microservices interact with each other, as well as the clients. There are also internal dependencies marked in yellow. In TTD, we had adopted event-driven architecture using Kafka as our event store or message broker. Event-driven architectures can increase scalability, fault tolerance, and better coordination between development teams by decoupling components of your application. Decoupled applications enable teams to act more independently, allows us to build new features faster. Another reason to adopt event-driven architecture is to handle unpredictable traffic. TTD is unique in the fact that we have variable amounts of traffic depending on the day. Every time you place an order, several things may happen. Central order system, third-party suppliers, central payment service, voucher and receipt PDF generator service, transactional email service, all need to process the request. The key point is that these processes can all run at different rates. In normal day, the rate at which customers place in orders and rate at which these upstream services can process are roughly equivalent. So we have no problem there. However, on busy days, customers place orders much more quickly than the upstream services can operate. We must be able to handle such cases and scale up to handle unpredictable traffic. The loose coupling of components in this architecture also means that services do not need to worry about the status or health of another service. It offers a level of resiliency within the system. So if one of the microservices is brought down, the application is still able to continue running. This is achieved by events being stored in Kafka so that consuming service can pick them up when it recovers. The producing service is never affected. It can keep producing events. This is in contrast with REST architectures, which are synchronous. So peer services must be up and retry logic must be implemented to cope with network failures. Okay, so that'll be the end of the slide. I hope you all get a clear glimpse of how TTD backend systems work. Finally, I've also prepared a short pantun to close this. Jalan-jalan ke kota Tasik, jangan lupa bawa oleh-olehnya. Kalau mau tag asik, semua ada tiketnya. Back and over to you, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Tando, for the presentation. It is very awesome. And next, we will have the talk show session. I'm preparing so much question, guys, to asking you related to our things to do vertical technologies. And first of all, I want to ask about how is things to do X different from other verticals? I think this question might be addressed to Tando.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's a great question, Mike. There's definitely a lot of similarities as each vertical shares the common ultimate goal of becoming the most loved travel app and lifestyle platform, right? And technically, there are also some microservices that are commonly being shared between the verticals. But for sure, there are some notable differences too. For example, the variety of product categories that TTD offers to our users. TTD has many different categories, and each category may have different requirements that needs to be solved by our engineering team. For example, we have attractions, events, online streaming, ticket flexi, or vouchers for hotels, antigen clinics, and third-party products, right? Some events can have seating manually selected by customers or automatically selected by our system. Some may not have seating. Voucher products may have expiry dates. The PDF voucher files may need to be uploaded for certain products. Online streaming products would require us to provide streaming links to customers. So behaviors can vary as we have many subset of problems and a lot of things can go wrong if not properly solutioned and tested. So there's a broad level of domain knowledge or understanding that would be required during solutioning of new features or debugging of problems. Another notable difference would be the traffic pattern, right? TTD can have bursting traffic during sales opening of some of the most popular K-pop events or other world famous bands, right? And sometimes these events can pop up randomly. And we've had instances where when we are just informed a few days in advance, right? Hotels and flights may have relatively more stable traffic pattern, except when we are having a huge campaign, which we usually have once or twice annually. Hope that answers the question, Mike.
Okay, yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I think it's related to, we cannot just have a good technology, but as our vision to be like to be a most loved platform, yeah, for the travel, yeah. I think the next question will become, like how we create the most loved product in the things to do vertical, yeah. Which mean like what about the UI UX and etc. Yeah, and this question I think will be addressed to the people. Bro, you might to have the question? Yeah,
Sure, Mike.
go ahead.
Thank you, Mike,
Thank
for the
you.
question. So here in Ticket, we value happy. Happy is quite like it's like a buzzword for us, wherein happy is
Yeah.
happiness, people also included. So whatever we do, we take people first, and in order to make people love our product first, what should be the motto? So for me, it's like people love product that is fast and easy to use. The flow should be intuitive
Yeah,
and
sure,
should
sure.
require minimum input from users. Like the way we select our seats automatically helps them to helps avoiding a step for them. It might be a feature, but it's also a useful thing when it comes to usage. We have been moving ahead with the same motto. We are continuously working on making the product fast across our apps, front end, and web. Also, our backend is scaling super fast, and we have been working on the architecture for front end specifically, and we have already shipped some pages on that, and that is quite fast. We are making us sure that our systems scale well during sale. As Tando said in his answer, our traffics are unprecedented. We do not know how much traffic will come. Most of our tickets would be sold in a matter of minutes. So we need to scale well enough so that each and every customer who is coming to our site finds our system up and running. They are able to book the ticket and they do not fear any hindrance. Another thing that we are working on to make our product loved is we are working on security at all levels. We are working on security at infra, on code base, and every level. Why we are doing it? Because we want to make sure that all our transactions of our users, the account of users, etc., are super safe. We are doing that. To answer the other part of the question, how do we collaborate between FE, front end and back end team? See, we follow a Scrum model wherein developers leads interact from starting before the stories or tasks are even planned. We discuss them internally with along with every member of the team so that no one it doesn't come like, oh wow, this is also happening for any of the developers. Everyone knows what is coming. We decide go into the meetings. We decide what we'll be picking up much before the story is planned. We just run through it, and so everyone is aware. Also, we have like small fragments in the team where it's easy to collaborate between the teams, and collective effort is the key to make the most loved product, and we are doing it. I hope that
Yeah, I
answers.
know. Yeah, okay, cool. And I think there must be several parts that need to consider in order to bring a whole package of most loved platform. Yeah, travel platform is it? Like I want to ask more detail and elaboration regarding to. I feel like it's pretty hard, right? So, do you guys mind to elaborate what is the most challenging part in order to bring this several parts in whole packets? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
maybe
sure, Mike, I
Tando
can
mind
answer
to
that.
elaborate this. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that TTD can be different than other verticals in the fact that TTD has more
correct,
product
correct.
categories that we offer, and then the bursting traffic pattern. I think these are also our biggest challenges, right? If you think about it, as we grow and become more complex, with increasing number of product categories and types, it naturally becomes very difficult to add a new feature. Right? Scope creep is very dangerous. Complexity leads to more complexity. We will need to put
Yeah,
some
of
more
course.
attention towards managing complexity, right? Simplifying the problem whenever we can. For example, solving a simpler problem or a subset of the problem. For example, to cover 90% of the use cases, but be 10 times more simpler. So we want to avoid
Correct.
accidental complexity, which can arise from misunderstanding of the domain, over engineering, and bad practices in general. Right, dirty hacks are not acceptable, and we should allocate time for refactoring. Another challenge would be the sudden burst of traffic during opening sales of highly sought after events, right? Our team should always be prepared every day, including weekends, unfortunately, for upcoming popular events, ticket sales, to make sure that process is in place to pre-warm and scale up server resources as required to handle initial spike of incoming requests, and make sure key PICs from all relevant teams are present in the case we have problems. So pressure is always on, especially when there are huge hardcore fan base to some of these events, right? Especially K-pop. So we do not want to anger them. They will not just sit idly when they don't get their tickets. They will spam our social medias to make sure their complaints are trending, right? So that's why we need to
Right.
perform a lot of performance and stress testing. And there are a lot of unexpected behaviors which can only be discovered during this kind of burst traffic. This applies to not just TTD vertical, but also to all the services that TTD depends on, such as the central order service,
dependency services,
yeah,
of course.
payments, and others, right? We have a lot of dependencies. So one of our challenges and key focus now is to optimize performance of our systems. Some of the initiatives that we are currently doing are profiling slow database queries, optimizing database indexes, using projections to reduce size of result set, adopting cursor pagination instead of offset based pagination, and we always have to keep identifying and refactoring inefficient codes, right? So yeah, so these are
In
going to
terms
be
of
our main
performance
focus now,
right?
and yeah, we've set up a small ninja team as well to speed up this improvement process in Ticket.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of explanation actually. Yeah, I think many changes. Yeah, and the next question, right? What is the future plan of the things to do vertical in terms of development? People, do you mind to have for this question?
Yeah, I like to answer this question specifically from the front end side, the user facing side, wherein user actually interact with the code. I mean, backend is like the engine of the car, but most of the end
Yeah,
users just watch the outer design of the car. If they don't like the outer design, they won't go for the engine. So let's I'll try to answer it more from the UI perspective, the client side perspective. So what are the future plans? Like first of line is we'll make sure that the end user experience is smooth and fast. By smooth I means they do not like face any error in the flows, like a hiccup, like a pop-up is appearing here and there, your API is not getting solved. It's a collaborative effort that in backend with scale, we'll scale and we'll make sure that the experience, total overall experience is very smooth. Of course, we'll make our pages fast. Fast is the key. We don't want users to remain stuck on our page for minutes in order to book a ticket. We just want to give them a happy path. Come to our website, come to our app, open it, go through the flow, book your ticket in a Ziffy, and enjoy your show or enjoy your anything that you want to book.
yeah. A
And
delightful
so
experience, right?
my take is super smooth means the flow should be so intuitive that even a 5-year-old can book a ticket. It doesn't need a person, an adult to book your ticket. Even a small child can book it. That's what smoothness and UX is. So it would require collaborative effort between the UX and the UI teams. By UX, I mean they will research which flows generally user take to book a ticket or book a event, and then UI will have to implement the same things on their side. Another thing that
Yeah.
we as a front end tend to do is improve our SEO. Why do we want to improve our SEO? Because if SEO brings in organic traffic. With organic traffic, it's like free traffic which comes from Google without any advertisement. I mean,
Sure,
anyone
sure.
can bring in huge amount of traffic with some advertisement on Google. You can just pay Google thousands of dollars and they'll place your link at top of the page. They'll come up that most of the users will see it, come from that, but that costs a lot to the company. We don't want that. We want our page to be listed at the top so that more users come directly to us free of cost. That's one of the thing
Cool.
where this is one of the thing why most of the app first companies, like we are majorly app first company, we it's the major motto of having a web or app web. Improve your SEO and rank it higher so that you can increase the organic traffic. We'll be also cutting down a lot of work. By cutting down a lot of work, I don't mean that we'll be cutting down of the task. No, we'll be moving all our architecture to single code base, wherein we'll be serving everything from single code base. This will help us in a way that our engineers will have more time. They'll have more time to work on better products for our client, for our consumer, rather than repeating same work on mobile, web, and other things also. Releasing more products that can, like, what we want is anything that you can do offline, you should be able to book that on TTD. No, it's
Sure,
a
sure.
huge, there's a huge world open. Everything you can
Yeah,
see can be booked on TTD. It's a huge thing, but we'll try to do that.
sure, sure. I agree. Totally agree with you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. In terms of technology, people, do you want to share any specific cutting edge technology that we plan to implement in the future? Yeah, I know, especially from the front end side.
Okay, speaking from front end side, we have already made an architecture, and we have also released our ticket homepage, ticket.com page, the landing page on this, and the results are quite fascinating. And our user coming to homepage have increased a lot. I cannot share the numbers for of the seasons, but and we plan to move all our flows, including TTD, to the same architecture. Talking about the architecture, architecture is something that I've explained in the slide earlier. It's a React based architecture, and wherein we will be serving our pages from server. We'll be caching a few, like in case of an event, we'll caching the event page so that most of the user get our page even faster as compared to other pages. Um, Also, we are working on some exciting micro front-end frameworks wherein we'll be serving most of the common things from common deployed places. That is coming up next. Stay tuned to our blog for that. That would be a really good one in terms of technology.
Okay, very cool, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think we left one question. Uh, what do you think? I think this last question is very difficult. What do you think is the recipe for success of the text things to do vertical? Do you guys mind to elaborate? Maybe people or Tando?
Okay, sure. So yeah, I think despite of what we had accomplished so far, I think we are still far from perfect, right? There are still a lot of room for improvements. But here, I think there are three basic fundamentals that I think it's very important to maintain if we want to continue improving, right? First is people, right? The thing that we value most is working with talented people in highly creative and productive ways, right? That's why our core philosophy is people over process, right? We try to bring great people together as a dream team. Of course, any growing business requires some process and structure, but with our people first approach, I think we can be more flexible, right, in what we do, right? So it's about investing in a team of talented people who are excited to pursue ambitious shared goals, right? Everybody's different, so we have to embrace diversity, help each other with your strengths and weaknesses, always give credits where it's due, and share all glories together as a team, right? One important key is to also place high performance individuals as a valuable force multiplier to grow the rest of the team, right? And second point, I think I think is very important is teamwork, right? After you have a great talents inside a team, then we need to focus on teamwork, intercommunication between talents in the team, right? In each of the teams, we want to encourage collaboration, sharing sessions to reinforce learnings and takeaways, and we also want to discourage politics, right? Focus on what matters. We try hard to be a company where everyone feels a sense of responsibility to make us better. Seek what is best for Ticket, right? Not for yourself, not for your team, right? Everyone should take care of problems, small and large, and never thinking that is someone else's job. We need to be very upset and lose some sleep, right? If someone finds an issue with the products that we ship, that level of ownership is very important, I think. And third, I think it's the performance-driven culture, right, Mike? We need to have plans and eagerness to achieve the best. I think we should identify what needs to be improved at all times, put monitoring for alerts and analysis, slow query profiling, configure rate limits for critical endpoints. Always track and measure performance. Right? We track number of critical things and hold leaders accountable. Number of production bugs, number of downtimes, the number of deployment rollbacks that we have. We encourage open communications. Everyone is free to comment and give advice on anyone's pull request. Learning from mistakes, no finger pointing, being transparent and helping each other out to ensure same mistake does not happen again in the code review process, right? So lastly, I think we have to be bold and take calculated risk, right? Do what others have not done before. All this would lead to our goal of high performance culture and individual empowerment.
Okay. Thank you, Tando. Yeah. Actually, I have one question. Yeah. In terms of software engineer itself, do you think what kind of value they should have in order to support the success?
Okay.
What kind of value, like a personal value, in terms of software engineer?
Yeah, to me, I think qualities of great engineers are first, they have to have high curiosity, right? They are critical thinkers. They are always learning, always asking the right questions, always keeping up with technology as it is their passion, right? They would read and write code in their free time, right? Because they're curious and always learning. They should have great technical knowledge and great problem solving skills. And as they always dive deep into each problem they encounter, right? Then I think there are qualities of so-called the 10x engineers, right? Who have all the good stuffs of great engineers, plus the ability to communicate effectively, see the bigger picture, and act as a force multiplier to grow other engineers to become better engineers. I think those are the most important quality that we should have.
I'm totally agree with you. Yeah. Okay, guys, I think we at the end of this talk show session. Next, we will move to, I know you guys, we will have several questions already regarding to the presentation and the talk show. Yeah, let's move to the Q&A session and let's address the question one by one later. I hope you guys will enjoy. Thank you. I think I see there are several questions is already come in. Let's pick it one by one. Yeah. Okay. Number one. Hold on. The big traffic, coming from Rudy. I think it's addressed to the backend. Tando, do you mind to address this question, maybe?
Yes, sure. Yes, so I think one of the most challenging part in handling big traffic is that you have to always keep track of all the deliveries that you just ship, right, to production, because code changes every day, right? You have to understand which part of the code needs to be performance tested, right? Because otherwise, you don't know. Today, you might be able to handle that event perfectly, but tomorrow, after some minor deployment, that can have a huge impact and might lead us to, not be able to perform on that day, right? So I think that's the most challenging. And I think we always need to also be ready 24/7, right? Even on weekends to prepare all the servers required, together all the, everyone that is required to be on that day, right? In case of fire, right? We need to have people around to put that fire up, right? I think that's the most challenging.
Okay, sure. Okay, I think it should address the question, right? Next one is, I think someone is asking about 10x engineer, as I believe it's been, like a answer in the talk show, but it's okay. It's come from Benito, and right now I think it's the chance for people to answer. People,
Yeah, I can answer.
what is your opinion? Definition of
Yeah, I
10x
can answer it.
engineer.
Like Tando already answered it in his question. So what is a 10x engineer? The 10x engineer is basically a term, quite popular one in Silicon Valley at least. It came in early 1960s, as I just googled, and they termed it like a 10x engineer is at least 10 times better than the worst engineer. But the definition has changed over a period of time. We can have a person who is really new to the system, who doesn't know anything about the fundamentals and is not really good. Even if you're 10x of zero, you are still zero. So 10x engineer, that doesn't make sense there. How would
I
I
see, I
think
see.
of a 10x engineer is an engineer who writes code, or maybe if in architecture he creates an architecture, he's an architect, make a product wherein he knows all the consequences that can happen. If he's creating a system for that would scale for like 10 lakh users, then keep it he'll ensure that it is done from the very starting. Also, for 10x engineers, they don't really hack things. I don't think a good engineer would put hacks here and there in the code. They'll write quality code
Yeah,
and know exactly how code has to evolve. They'll keep the base really strong, because a poor base cannot help you scale. 10x engineers basically are engineers who are always look out for new things that come up in market. Technology is one thing which is ever evolving, and if you do not keep updated, if you are not updated, you will be, you know you will find yourself stuck back somewhere wherein there would be a lot of like a garbage for your career. So those engineers are like they always look for new things, new frameworks, new languages, etc., etc., and check whether they can be used in their current infrastructure, etc.
I see.
Also,
Because
one thing
they,
which is
yeah,
pretty common in Valley about NS engineers is that they don't really are on the lookout. They are actually taken away with them with by people and are high in demand, but they don't really change. If you search on LinkedIn about the major contributors, they don't really change. Like framework contributors, etc., they don't really change because they are
I
more
see, I see.
confined to improving themselves rather than looking out here and there.
I see, I see. Yeah, I see
I think
people,
that's something.
it is a long, yeah, I hope you guys can, get additional information from people 10 year. Let's move to another question. The next is, I think, is addressed directly to Tando. Tando, as the VP, how do you upskill talent of your juniors or to prepare them to manage position? So especially
Yeah.
to, prepare them to managerial. Yeah, I think it's not
Mhm.
okay.
Okay, that's quite a jump. I see. Okay, but I think for me, right, what is the most important for me, for a junior developer is to get an indication of, what the potential of that developer is, right? So usually tech leads would usually start gauging them by giving them relatively less complex tasks on their plate, right? And based on that, we'll figure out the plan, right? Based on the pull request they submit, we'll be able to assess their potentials, right? Were they able to survive on their own, right? Do they need extra help? What do they need to help them learn faster, to understand more, to get the job done, right? How will they get the help they need when they need, right? Do they have good mentors around to help them increase their skills, right? And we also need to find out through probably regular one-on-ones, right? What are their aspirations, right? Because some engineers like to choose managerial position in the next step of career, right? But it's not for everyone. I don't think so, right? Some prefer to continue laser focused on leveling up their technical skills as individual contributors, which are fine too, right? So I think my strategy is to show them as much as possible on what is going on in the organization they're in, involve them in design meetings, tech discussions, sharing sessions, then make sure we track their progress and identify things that they can do to improve their day job, right? That way they can understand and appreciate where they're coming from and going to.
I see. But it is come from the engineer, yeah, whether they want to choose the managerial way or technical way, yeah.
Yes.
All right, okay. I think there is a question coming. Let's move to the next one. Is from the how's the iteration process on the front end side? Yeah, it obviously addressed to the people, I think.
Yep.
People, please.
I hope the question, the person who asked question doesn't mean iteration here. But by
I don't know.
iteration,
It is what an
from
iteration. Yeah.
yeah, from iteration, what I get is like the process that front end team follows. It's like we work in a collaborative environment wherein we have our grooming planning with the teams. As I told earlier, also, collaboration is the key. We work as a team beforehand, before even we start picking up anything. Everything is planned completely, so that no unseen blockers come at the meantime. And front end developers then leads actually collaborate with their front end developers and other teams. So we start integration. Once integration is done, it's handed over to QA, and the rest process follows. We also have picked up, like earlier said, we have picked up some few pages which are to be moved on the new architecture. That is a sort of priority for the company as well as us, since we want to move to a better architecture and make our pages faster. In that regards, we keep some bandwidth of our developers for that, and that's how things are going in front end.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I hope this addressed the question. Next is the from Kevin Chandra. How's your practical collaboration with other team or other vertical? Who want to answer this? This one, Tando? People?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Practical
Tando.
collaboration with other team.
Yeah,
Right. I
practical
think,
collaboration. Yeah, means that the practical way that we usually do. Yeah, maybe.
yes. I think in Ticket, I think what we practice, right? We usually, in order to collaborate better with other teams or other verticals, right, we must understand their goals, right? We each of the teams have their goals and their, they have, time constraint on their resources. So it's better that we align first on, what are our goals and priorities, right? Based on that, I think if we have that understanding, I think it would be much easier to collaborate, right? And of course, you
I
have
see.
to, all the normal things that you have to respect their time. You make sure you respect their priorities, right? You cannot have your way all the time, right? Sometimes you have to help them by sacrificing your priorities, and the other way around. I think that's how we usually, at least we try to collaborate that way. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I have curious question. Yeah, make it quick. Yeah. Is it harder to collaborate while doing the work from anywhere? It is harder to collaborate, yeah, while we are work from anywhere,
Yes,
right?
definitely. Definitely, there's pros and cons, right? But sometimes human interaction is probably better, right? Some things are
Directly is better,
much
right?
more easier discussed in person, right? We become much more,
Agree.
there's this emotional aspect to it that we are sometimes missing during work from anywhere, right?
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. Yeah, let's
You
move
can
to
always
the next question. Yeah. People, yeah, you want to add anything?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
always grab a coffee and discuss a few things, and that those will be
Yeah,
sorted out
I
earlier
agree.
Yes,
for
yes,
the
yes, yes.
meeting.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's one thing that we miss, like work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next question. It is from Nick. What should we consider when prioritizing the development? prioritizing
I can take
yeah,
this up,
what
kind
should
of.
we consider? What kind of aspect, yeah, maybe that we need to
I think I can answer
consider,
this.
yeah. Okay, people, thanks. Go ahead.
As a business-driven company, wherein we are actually catering the needs of people, like there was an event, like gaming event, wherein we can book online tickets. It comes like a business requirement for us, and that being said, it is one of the topmost priority for us. So priority in a vertical, like to do, uh, it is more like business driven, and once business driven requirements are less, then we can prioritize on tech driven requirements like speeding up things, scaling, etc., etc. But major thing is like business requirement. If if let's say we planned for a page revamp, but business comes where the requirement that no, next week we are going to have a really big sale, so you cannot say that no, we won't do that, we will first revamp our page and then only we'll have sale. No. It comes with a
Yeah,
cost. You need to make sure
yeah,
that
yeah,
okay, my requirement is I'll have to host this show, I'll have to sell all the tickets of the show, and that's the priority. That's how priority comes in a vertical like to do. It's not easy as it would be for a vertical like hotel or flights, wherein most requirement are majorly coming from your product person or tech, but here business takes the upper end. I think
yeah.
if Kingdom
Yeah, as
like
engineer,
to
I
add.
think we need to find the balance way or balance a line between the business requirement and the tech consideration, right? Okay, interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Let's move to next question. Yeah, respond Randy. I see a lot of Java tech, yeah, mean Java stack maybe, yeah, used in backend, yeah. Why not using Go, yeah? As I believe Go is right now is like kind of growth popular, right? Maybe from Tando, do you have any perspective for
Yes,
this
yes.
question? I
Actually,
mean,
in yeah, Ticket we use Golang as well, right? As well as Java. We use both. Uh,
yeah,
and in TTD we use Java more at the time. I think that's because of the existing resources, right? Because historically, I think Ticket was originally using Java as most of the code base were written in Java. So a lot of the engineers are much more fluent in Java. So I think
yeah, they already familiar
that's
with Java,
that's a
right?
lot of yeah. Yes, yes, yes. And moving to Go would require a lot of learning curves for majority of the engineers. So yes, so there's a lot of debates over why Java versus Golang and versus other .NET or something, C Sharp, right? Um, I think we have to keep in mind that there are just tools, right? Depending on situations, some tools can be better than others. I think we should use just any tool that can work for us, that work best for us in our situation. I think that's my take on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I believe that if we talk Java versus Go, it will become the endless debate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
the
as I
huge
believe
ongoing debate.
also that learning curve somehow is also considered as the technical depth. Yeah, that's at least that's from my personal perspective. Yeah. Okay, all right. I think it's already the last question that coming in. I thank you guys for those already dropped the question, and thanks to Tando and people too that already addressed the question. Try to address. Yeah, I hope you guys. I hope it answer and with expected. I mean, yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think this
All
end
right.
of the Q&A session. Thank you guys for joining us. Sadly, we have to say goodbye here. For the past hour, we already discussed about key achievement that Ticket Things to Do Tech has already done. We also shared the challenge to become the most loved travel lifestyle platform from the tech perspective. For those who are interested in working with us, we open some roles. We are looking for the Android engineers, iOS, backend, frontend, and etc. And if you want to know more about us, you can go directly to our career site at careers.tiket.com or follow us on the social media. Ikan hiu makan tomat. Thank you very much. See you on the next session of Spill the Beans.
Andai aku bisa menjadi seperti yang kau minta, ku jadi juwita kala cinta.